Uh, first thing I had on the agenda was I just wanted to talk a bit about the what I call the root problem. So I want to talk a little bit about that. Then I want to just mention about the call that we're setting up for next Wednesday night to deal with or to review and discuss what we're saying in our interviews, specifically George, myself, Mindy, and Gary, so that we can get our story straight, so that we're all on the same page and saying the same thing with our new with our applicants. And then we'll get
knocking on the door.
What?
So yeah, when they come knocking on the door, you all want to have the same story.
Right. Then tonight we'll review the DCR report, DCRT report, the LMT, and the training report. And our next call will be June 8th. Okay, let's talk about this root problem. As you know, we have, I'll just set the stage here for you a little bit in case you are not aware. But as you know, we've had in Indiana, we've had this problem where we bring on new district captains. George interviews them. I interview them. We bring them on board. Rachel sends them the first email for the training program to start out in Module 1, and they disappear. And they don't communicate with us. They don't tell us. We have no idea why they're disappearing, but they just simply disappear. They don't communicate with us, don't say anything. We just never hear from them again, and they never respond to us. Come to find out that Rodney was listening in on that conversation we were having, and he pointed out that this is not just an Indiana problem. This is a problem nationwide, that other states are experiencing the same thing, okay? Now, he believes that, and he calls it the root problem, he thinks that the job description for a district captain on our website, on the Citizen Builder website, is very different. He thinks that it's very different from what the applicant begins to see when they start the training program. And that it's that difference that scares the applicant off or turns them off, or they decide that it's not for them. And so he thinks there's a disconnect there. So what I've done over this past week is I've selected 4 of our new district captains. And by the way, I just want to say, no more district captains with the name of Larry, okay? I get them confused, and I end up calling the wrong Larry on the wrong night. Anyway, just thought I would throw that in.
Okay.
So I've talked to them, and I've asked these individuals, these new district captains, if they experienced that disconnect that Rodney thinks is the root problem, or that, you know, that difference between what they first thought was the job versus what they started seeing when they got the training. And none of them said they had experienced that, which kind of surprised me, I guess, I have to say. None of them expressed any kind of feeling like that. they were all very positive about the training program and about what Rachel does. Now they offered up some ideas, some possible reasons why people are disappearing on us, but they really didn't specifically comment on that disconnect or that difference. Does that surprise you?
It doesn't surprise me because of the I mean, it's a skewed sample, right? Which we know. I mean, we don't have access to the people who didn't show up, right? So, by definition, we're not going to get people who were very disillusioned because obviously they stuck through it. I also think that, but hopefully, their experience subsequent to that, like, has been so positive that maybe, you know, any initial feelings that they might have had of being kind of turned off have maybe been replaced by good things. I don't know. I think it's definitely a worthwhile exercise, but I'm not shocked.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know about George.
You have any ideas on that, George, or any thoughts on that?
Well, I talked to Isaac today, and he didn't even remember seeing the blurb. He said he just went right to the question survey.
Yeah, yeah.
He didn't even see the job description from National.
Well, you know, I guess it. I guess I'm not clear on all the different ways a person can apply for a job. Does everyone have to go through the website to apply to be a district captain? Can you do that through? Huh?
That's what I thought. Yeah. I guess somebody I would like to be assigned by somebody.
I mean, is there, like on Facebook, is there maybe a link that takes you to an application, or I'm not really clear.
The link takes you to the website. The Facebook always takes you to the website. So
it would take you to the website.
Yeah, honestly, Dale, you know, I mean, I think this is a good conversation, but I think in some ways the answer to this is kind of, and I'm not going to go ahead because I know you're going to want to talk about this, but I think that ultimately we're never necessarily going to know exactly what the root cause is, so the best we can do is put as many things in place to counteract all the possible things that could be messing stuff up, right?
Right, right. Yeah, I think you're right.
You know, so I think in some ways it's an interesting exercise, but I don't know that that the answer would be any different, right? Because we can't control what's on the website. We can't control the questions national. We can't control the Tuesday night trainings. We can't control the training manuals. You know, that's not going to change. So I think we're doing the right thing as far as your plans, you know, to try to insert things like before training, during interviews, to kind of any potential that someone might be going off the rails. Let's try to make sure they don't. I think it'll probably bear fruit. I think it's a good plan.
Okay, okay.
I don't know.
Well, and I think the interview call is part of that process where we can determine if we're presenting the correct picture when we do these phone interviews. So and we'll get into that Wednesday night. I'm not going to go through it now, but I've put together a four-point outline of what I say on an interview. I don't like scripts. I don't use a script. I just have basically an outline in my mind of the topics that I want to convey to them. So I'll put that out to everyone prior to the call, and we can just kind of use that as a focal point and go from there. So that's all I got to say about that. Unless anyone's got any questions about anything so far?
No, other than part of the interview process is just to get to know them a little bit. You know, what kind of person you're dealing with. And, you know, there's no really set script for that anyway. You know, you talk shop and see what their knowledge level is. You know, how active they are or want to be, have been.
Right.
You know, for a while now, I've been pushing, you know, we've got our own training. I do say that, well, National has training, but it was too generic, and so we developed our own training program for here in Indiana. And I mentioned Rachel's name and you know, to try to spark some familiarization there when they do start getting the emails and stuff. So. And I also emphasized to stay in contact. That we're flexible, we're volunteers too, and if something comes up, then let us know. Don't just land up in the bit bucket somewhere.
Yeah. All right. Well, good. Well, we ought to have a good conversation then Wednesday night and compare notes and. But like Rachel said, I think that's certainly part of the process that we need to address to make sure we're presenting the right picture from the very beginning. So, okay, let's get into the DCR report and take a look at all the different colors on it now. Isn't that something? Terry is really getting with it now, and I see I had gotten caught up on all my interested persons non-DC names, but here I just noticed tonight when I looked at this, there's some more. He's got some more names on here. So, George, have you seen?
Too. I thought I had mine caught up too, but there's District 11 right there. Yeah, where you're at.
Yeah.
That's new today.
Yep. Well, that's good. That's good too. I see one of these guys is a combat vet.
Yeah, I talked to Terry. Called me about him today and said the guy's kind of messed up. He's just getting out of the hospital today. I guess he's back from Afghanistan. He really wants to do something, and he really wants to do something. He loves his country, and he wants to be involved. He's just not sure how much he'll be able to do.
Okay.
So I thought, maybe we got another vet coalition director or something.
Yeah, possibly. Okay. All right. Ed, I'll tell you. We won't get into that. Ed promises me he's going to get on this.
Didn't he also promise you he was going to call me?
Yes, he did.
I talked to him tonight.
Okay, I saw where you hold that thought. We'll get to that. Yes. Okay. What about? And of course, Mindy brought us in some good ones. What do you think about Mindy? And Tim's got all his done. Do you think we can give these these districts down here that Mary had? Do you think we can give those to Mindy? Rachel?
I would. I think that you or I should have a conversation with her, one-on-one, not put her on the spot on a conference call, about whether maybe I should do it because if it comes from you, she might have trouble saying no. About whether she feels like she wants to make more. No, I mean you're the boss. I'm just her colleague. About whether she wants to make more calls, whether she feels comfortable. I feel like sometimes people say they'll make calls, and then there's a conference call, and suddenly they have all these new districts, and I think it's pretty hard for them to say no. I think she'd probably be able to do it, but I guess, and I feel this way about everybody, not just Mindy. I think that sometimes, we should ask instead of just kind of assuming.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I think we could ask her, though. I don't think she's super busy. I mean, she could probably power through those districts in a week if she.
Well, her husband's home now.
Yeah. Yeah, that might slow her down now that her husband's home. Huh?
What's so special about Region 9 now?
What's so special?
Are we still treating Region 9 like Bob Vick's territory and not making calls past March or before March 1st entries? Or
did you take that into consideration, Rachel, when you
No.
did these?
That's going to mean there's a lot fewer calls to make, actually. So.
Probably so, yeah.
Or maybe, some of the calls maybe if we do want to call some of those earlier people, have somebody you could do, or somebody who, could address anything that comes up. Yeah, so I don't know what the date is on that. I don't remember what the cutoff was, but those will definitely go down quite a bit.
I think it was, we were going to contact March 1st, only the ones that came on after March 1st.
Well, I can go through those and I'll update the numbers, and then I think we'll have a different conversation, hopefully.
Those will, I'm sure, will be a lot less numbers than these.
Yep.
Okay, good. Good. Thanks, George, for bringing that up. That's a good point. Okay. Okay. But this certainly looks a lot better than it did a week or so ago. So it's much better. It's getting much better. Just got to get Ed on the get going here. Okay. Let's move on then to the LMT report. Okay. And I see George has got the newest DC applicants on.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I got tired of you spanking me all the time.
Okay. I know this Isaac Deal, this third one here. If you guys remember, back when we had him apply for a LL position, and at the time, though, he was running in the primary to be a state representative for District 43. And he was, and to boot, was a senior at Indiana State University. And we turned him down just because of the political implications of him being a candidate and so forth. So now he lost his bid, and to be he lost in the primary. So now he has come back and applied for a district captain position. So, and George, you've talked to him, right?
Yeah, I talked to him today, and he said he just really wants to get involved. He'll take any position. I noticed that he had been legislative liaison applicant before, and I read the notes that it was, because of the election coming, and you and he kind of mutually agreed just to kind of put that off for now, and then, to come back and review it later on, depending on what the results were of the election. Mm-hmm. But he's willing to take any position where he's needed, but he definitely wants to get involved and do something.
Okay, well, I will talk to him, and we'll see. If he wants to do a district captain, that'd be great. I'm just concerned about his time and where he is in school and so forth. So
he is working. He's a mall cop in the evenings. I think in the night too. Like there's after closing kind of stuff. And he's doing something else too, some kind of counseling service, or I don't remember exactly what it was, but.
Okay.
He doesn't have like a regular 9-to-5 kind of job.
Okay.
And he gave the idea that he has quite a bit of free time now that the election's over. He's not busy with that, so.
All right.
Just to let you know.
Okay. All right. Let's keep going here then. This Ben Hauser, this is a guy, a content writer applicant that I thought had went away, but then he came back. So Ken's gonna do a second interview with him, and Ken's doing a second interview with this Dawn Marie. So
I called her. She was one of the people you had me call also.
Yeah.
And she hasn't. I told you she hasn't called me back. So.
Well, she's probably confused as to who she's supposed to talk to, but.
Oh, okay.
Anyway.
Yeah. Okay.
What did you get here? Okay, Paul, we went ahead and brought him on as a volunteer. We don't really have a place for him yet, but he seemed like a good man, right?
Yeah, and he's the other thing too is that he's up here by me. So I felt like, I could kind of keep in touch with him and, kind of if he did, if we had any kind of, I'm always trying to do these get-togethers. And now that I just bought this gigantic house, it's like 2,300 square feet for just me. Cats. So the good side is that, maybe I'll be the one to actually host the get-together for, the northern suburbs people. So
how many square feet?
If he had been, if he was been from a different part of the state, I might have reacted differently, but I felt like a sense of connection because he's close by, so I could kind of keep in touch with him. And, even though he's an older gentleman, I mean, he is very sharp. I was actually very impressed and very, and he really seems very, very enthusiastic. So I think, again, worst case scenario, we have him as a volunteer, and maybe even once every 6 months we have something for him to do, but I think it's good to keep, kind of, we talked about this in the past, the fact that, like, just because people aren't district captains, they don't have a specific job, we could still kind of, keep them in the loop. So, yeah, I think it's good. I like them.
Now, I told you that he and Tim conduct at prison ministry. I told you that.
You did tell me that.
Okay, Rebecca, you're working on that, trying to connect with her. Peter Keck, volunteer. This was, I think, one of Terry's calls that he made, is who put me on to this one. And this guy's going to talk. Have you made contact with him yet, George? Or?
No. Last I noticed that you were going to call him. But okay. He's in Fremont, you said, right? Right.
He's the environmental consultant.
Oh, okay.
Okay, Mary, to be assigned. Well, okay. Mary is within a district where we had a new district captain coming in, Mark Box. And so I was going to connect her with him, but he's gone away. And so we don't have a district captain there any longer. So I don't know. Got to decide what I'm going to do with Mary now. So that one I don't know what I'm going to do on right now. Sally Stein, Larry Kehoe is contacting her, and he's going to see how she can help him out. So that's it for the LMT then. Okay, let's get into this training report. Okay.
Well, it looks like there have been some changes in the last couple of days, which is good.
Yes.
Of course, they're not in Module 3, but we can't address that right now. So we got Module 4, and stuff's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah,
sure.
So it should be updated, just to let you guys know. If you scroll down, Dale, I just put a little note. This is just for me. I mean, I tend to make these updates on my phone because it's convenient, because I'm, always on the go. And so if you look at the last few people, Matt Shota, Diane Hurt, and Dallas Halcombe, the little reason they're G's and M's is that's just a little note that they're Gary and Mindy people, because as George probably knows, we're currently transitioning into Gary and Mindy becoming trained to do the training program, since that's ultimately their responsibility. So I'm doing kind of an auditing situation. So this just alerts me that when these people call to schedule with me, I remember, oh, this is a Gary person. I need to try to reach out to Gary and make sure he's available too, or this is a Mindy person. So that's what those G's and M's are for both three guys, if you see them on here.
Now you're not turning them over to Gary.
No way. No, we're not. We would have to talk about that before we did that. Yeah. It's just because if I'm going to be having Gary and Mindy auditing and sitting in, which is what I'm doing first, I want to check with them before I schedule somebody. So, so the good news is that I've already started the process, and Bill Papiak was the first trainee just on Wednesday. And this is also just to kind of, the other thing I have to tell you, and George, I don't know that you were in on this call, both Mindy and Gary are actually very enthusiastic about getting involved in this and taking it over. I'm actually very impressed with how Mindy, we knew she'd be enthusiastic because Dale, knows she's too enthusiastic. But Gary, so I was worried that, he's busy, he's golfing, he's doing whatever. But he was, I sent him a Slack message saying, I'm training somebody of yours tomorrow. Can you be there? And he showed up. And he sat quietly through most of it. There are a couple of times that he did pop in with something that was very timely, like the trainee was wondering where to find the map with all the progress, and I actually didn't know the answer, so Gary typed in, but he didn't, interrupt in an untimely way. And I spoke to him for a few minutes after the trainee got off the phone. He said he thought it was really helpful, that he needed to have the experience of sitting and listening in order to kind of see what it would be like. And I think he seems very enthusiastic. I'm sure Mindy will be also. So I think that's moving well. And that's as far as my end. Again, we have a few people still waiting that I've sent emails to. The clock is ticking. But then, as we know, there's the 3 people who seem to be just in the black hole. And Chris Miller, the reason he hasn't gotten an email yet is because I need to send him a specialized email with the, SI-specific training, and because I didn't realize I was going to have people here, because it was not really planned. I haven't done that yet, but I'll have that done by early in the week. So.
Okay. All right.
That's that.
All right. Well, I'm trying to get. I see George gave us some more detail here. That's good on Module 4.
George, did you have to chase down Ed Paraguay to get him to schedule? He didn't call.
No, he said he got back from New York like a week ago Wednesday or something. I called him and he set up the schedule for next week. First time I tried calling him, made contact.
Okay, because the last I spoke with Gary had contacted him to tell him to call me and to tell him to schedule with Paul, and he didn't. My feeling about Ed seems to be, and I don't know if this is okay, if you call him and you get him on the phone, he'll schedule and then he'll show up. But if you tell him, please call this person, he just doesn't do it. I mean.
This really surprises me about him. Of course, Ed took over my district, and Ed participated in doing the COS, the PowerPoint presentations that we did here in Fort Wayne, and he's done some since then. So, I mean, Ed's a retired engineer. He's very, very articulate, very detail-oriented, and I just don't. This just doesn't match up with the Ed that I knew. I don't know what it is. That when he says he was going to do something, he did it, and this just doesn't match up with with the Ed that I knew. I don't know what's going on.
Do you think that maybe, I mean, he seems like a very soft-spoken guy. I wonder if maybe he knows that, or he's made a decision that he can't really do this anymore, but he doesn't want to tell anybody, so this is his, like, passive-aggressive way of telling us. You know, I mean, he just seems like such a, kind of nerdy, soft-spoken guy, and I mean that in a good way.
Yeah.
Maybe he doesn't, maybe he doesn't want to tell you because he, there's probably a part of him that says, I don't want to quit, I want to keep helping because I care about this and I care about, I have a good relationship with Dale, but maybe ultimately he's not being honest with himself, and he does, because again, actions speak louder than words. He isn't telling us he's quitting, but he's also not really doing it.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I guess I don't want to believe that at this point.
In my conversation with him, he said that he got the video that Rachel sent, and he started watching it, and he had to leave. He couldn't finish it, and he has not gotten back to it. He got the video from Paul also, but he hasn't viewed that yet either. I don't know. I can pick his brain and where he's at when I talk to him on Thursday.
I mean, I guess it's up to Dale.
That's kind of.
Yeah. I guess it's up to Dale as far as, it's now been more, I mean, he's told Gary he's going to call the schedule and he hasn't. I know he's told you he's going to call the schedule and he hasn't. He's not doing his recruitment calls. I don't know. I mean, I like him. He did great in his first 2 modules. I think, we should certainly try to give him the benefit of the doubt, but it's just,
Yeah. He's got a lot of other things going on.
I'll talk to him on Thursday. I'll find out what's going on. I'll be straight with it.
Well, I'm going to be talking to him again. This is kind of getting under my skin here on this, and I don't know what to do. But I'll talk to him again. You talk to him, George, when you get a chance, and let's work on him here. That's all I can say right now.
Beat him senseless about the head, neck, and shoulders, right?
Yeah, we might try that, yeah.
So the other 2, I guess, so then the other people, to address, and I see now that George has made contact with Casey.
Yeah, Casey wants to back out until after June. He he started coaching his son's baseball team.
Yeah, I know. He told Paul that.
Yeah, he said he'd talk to you about it.
The issue I have with him is again, and this is, I understand that this is a professional, right? And again, I had a relationship with him. We did 2 trainings. You can see it was only about 2 weeks apart. He was doing great, and I find it, again, going back to this. I know I'm just like a broken record, but he reached out. Paul reached out to him. He told Paul that he was busy with baseball, and I just feel like I would appreciate if these people would say, listen, I'm not going to be able to do this for a month because we spent the last month, we're all trying to reach out. Which, like, what was the point? Why did George have to waste his time reaching out to Casey when he had just told Paul, and Paul reached out to him, hey, listen, I'm not going to be available until the end of June, then we could have saved George having to do this. It's just frustrating to me. So
I did bring that up with him.
Yeah.
If something comes up that we're flexible, just stay in contact and let us know.
Right.
Well, I think what Rachel's saying is that evidently Paul already knew this.
Yes, and I had to pull. Paul. And George, I think, was on this conversation. So basically what happened is that I think it was May 23rd, after looking at this and being like, what is going on? I sent a Slack to Paul. I'm pretty sure you were on this, George, where I said, what the heck is going on with David, Casey, and Ed? And Paul's response is, I spoke to Casey on May 3rd. He told me that he was busy with softball for his kids. And I was like, well, am I supposed to read everybody's mind? And so it's just, yeah. So we did know this, but like I said, it would have been nice if Paul had said, hey, listen, when are you going to be, followed up and said, okay, I understand you're busy now. How long is the season? When will you be available to do this? There is a time limit. We need to know. If you need a break, we can give you a break, but you can't leave us hanging. And that conversation never occurred. So, yeah, that's my issue with it.
He did express a concern to me that, maybe he wasn't doing a real great job at this, and, he didn't want to take a position that somebody else could have and do a better job than him. And I told him, well, we're always looking for DCs in, even if we've already got a DC assigned, because if we find somebody else that's interested, then, you can have an assistant or, a part of your team and all that sort of thing. And he seemed, well, oh, okay.
Well, that's where Diane Hurd's going to come into play.
That doesn't address the issue of the fact that there's a communication problem here.
No.
Yeah.
Well, the communication problem is with us.
Yes, it's with us. And
well, in this instance it was, yeah. It's
with him too, though. I mean, obviously it's our lack of communication that we're not having communication success with our people. So yeah.
All right.
What's the situation with David? Also, George, I don't have a date on this. When did this? I mean, this has been here for more than a week. I feel like.
No, it hasn't been more than a week. It's let's see, last Friday or Saturday I talked to him, and he had just found out like 3 hours ahead of time that he was going to be, that he had to go away for like a couple of weeks or something. And I suggested to him that, well, you're going to be staying in a hotel or something, right? And he said, well, yeah. I said, well, all right, when you get settled in the hotel, we can just, run a quick pre-conference call in the evening when you get settled in and, get it done, get it taken care of. And he said, oh, okay. And I haven't touched base back with him since then, and he hasn't tried contacting me either. So I got to call him back, try to.
Right. I guess my point is that none of all the stuff you just said to me is great, but that information is not on here. There's, the fact that a whole week has gone by is a problem. We usually give people 2 weeks, right? So he's already halfway through that 2-week thing. If you look at when he finished his module 2, it was on March 15th. I mean, this is insane. I'm not blaming you. I'm just saying we need to know when people are really, we need to be able to look at this spreadsheet and be able to say, this person hasn't responded in a week, this person has responded 2 weeks, or so on and so forth.
What information on there do you not have about what I just said? A work requirement sheet?
The date that you called him, when he said he was going to schedule, and, like if you said, called him on May 25th, he promised to schedule within 4 days, and then I could look at it and say, oh, wait, maybe I'm crazy. Gail, am I?
No, I see. I follow you. Okay, I got you. I don't put a date in.
Yeah,
that would put a time parameter around it.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, no,
I mean, this is the hole that we were trying to avoid our trainees falling into. This guy completed Module 2 on March 15th. That's 2.5 months ago.
Right, but that's not George's fault because for most
No,
of that,
I know.
I only recently asked George to schedule him. I mean, he's been in the Paul black hole for like most of this.
I know, and
it
is. This is the black hole that we have been trying to avoid.
Yeah. All right. Cool.
Now I exchanged some Slack messages with Paul this afternoon, and I'll keep going on that, trying to get him to provide some more detail here. So I'm working on that. I was hoping maybe he would have updated this by the call this tonight, but I guess not.
Yeah, like I said, the other issue is that, some of the stuff that Paul, is actually contradicts some of the other information he's giving me. So I don't even know if he knows what's going on.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
I don't know if George was in that conversation too. I don't know if you remember, George. It was from last week where I was like, what is the status of these people? And Paul starts saying, oh, here are 5 people that didn't get to do a training yet. And I'm like, those people are done with training. What are you talking about? I was losing my mind.
No, I don't remember that.
Oh, yeah, no, you can scroll back. It was a Paul issue.
You were on vacation last week, weren't you?
I think it was the 23rd, so it was after I came back from vacation. So, yeah.
All right.
Last week, I feel like I was 6 months ago.
Yeah, it was.
We can only see you from the nose up, Rachel.
I know, I'm sliding down. I'm sitting I'm not at a normal chair. All right.
All right. Okay. Well, that's it. That's all I have for tonight.
Okay.
I got something.
Okay.
Terry King called me today and volunteered me to help out with his table at the Elkhart County Fair.
Yeah.
It's like a week long, and he's trying to scrounge up other people that can help out. He said his boys can help out, not to represent Convention of States, but they can help out as far as, hey, go get me a slushie and a pulled pork, kind of stuff, so we don't have to leave the table. But anybody that you can think of that could help with the table and stuff would be cool.
Well, why don't you call that Peter Keck?
Yeah, where's he live?
Huh?
Oh, he's up in Fremont. Yeah, okay.
And tell where. Well, I assume then the Elkhart County Fair is in Elkhart, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
It's straight out. It's straight west on 120.
I'm gonna go since I don't know what the heck you're talking about, and I have nothing to do with Elkhart County. Is that okay?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay.
Well,
Have a great weekend, guys. Thank you so much for expediting this. I appreciate it.
All right. Bye-bye.
bye.
How far is Fremont from Elkhart?
Probably 45 minutes. He ought to be able to catch 120 and just fly right over.
Well,
I don't know where the fairgrounds is at in Elkhart, but 20 goes, you know, I used to work in Elkhart, and it took me, from LaGrange, it took me like 45 minutes to get to work in Elkhart.
Well, I'm just suggesting the reason I suggested his name was because that was one of the things that he said he would be willing to help do, and that's to man a table or, you know, do an information table type thing. Now, don't know if, well,
I can ask, you know, I mean, you know.
You can always ask him, yeah. Now, Terry told me about this. When is this supposed to happen?
July 11th through the 16th.
July 11th. Okay. Well, now if he wants to, if there's an entry fee, you know,
it's like $460.
Are you kidding me? Really?
Yeah, that's what he said for a table for the whole week.
Oh, for the whole week.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, then he definitely needs to submit that form to National to get that paid.
Okay.
And he's got to do it. He's got to allow 3 weeks prior to the due date.
Yeah.
Uh,
He said he talked to you, and you talked about maybe getting a banner for the table or something, or
I've got a banner and a few things here, yes, that I could get to you. I've got a banner, and we've got a banner down in Indianapolis. Ken Kashuba's got it at his house.
Okay.
And so we only have 2 banners. So, you know, you'd be welcome to, I'll get the one I have to you.
Okay. TK's got a laptop. I got my tablet for letting people sign a petition right there. I got a portable Wi-Fi thing, you know, on my Verizon thing, so you know, I'll be able to connect to the internet.
You know how to set that up? I don't know how to set that up. For petition signing, I don't know how to set that up.
This little guy here, I can take it with me anywhere. And if I can get a Verizon signal, it'll be my Wi-Fi.
Really? Cool.
It's fun. I was just going to go online and go to the website and let them do it from there.
Yeah. You can do that. Yeah.
They did used to have a special site to go to or something, or it was an offline application that would then import after the fact.
Right.
But
I always used the manual form myself. I didn't.
We'll have some of them too. What about handout cards or any kind of documentation kind of stuff?
Well, I've got some. But if we need to order some, we can order them. But you need to allow a couple weeks. You got to do that at least a couple weeks ahead of time to get them in time.
Yeah. Well, if you order them, what do you think about those pocket constitutions? Is that too much or what? You can get like 100 of them for like 20 cents a piece or something. Or
well, I've got some here.
25 costs me 70 cents a piece, but if you get like 100, it's a lot less.
Well, I wouldn't have that many, but Hillsdale College sent me a bunch of them free. So I've got a bunch of them here I can give you.
Okay.
Rather than you spending any money for them. Okay.
All right.
That's it then. Thanks.
Okay. Do we have any other DCs out that area?
Up in that area?
Oh, Terry said he's going to get hold of Don Brown. See if
Oh,
he can,
yeah.
yeah. We'll see how
Yeah,
that goes.
no, I can't think of any right offhand, to tell you the truth.
All right. All right, well, keep an ear open. It's a week long for all day, all week.
All right.
Who knows what the weather's going to be like?
Yeah, who knows?
I don't know if he's going to be inside or outside or what. So.
All righty.
All
All
right.
right. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Good night.
Good night.